Good afternoon, everyone. This is Cynthia Gwiazda, Community Services Librarian here at Hagaman Library, with you this October 3rd to talk to you about some new adult fiction we have available at the library, some brand new books for you to come in and check out. So I'm going to talk to you about those now. Okay. Okay, so some new and featured adult fiction at the Hagaman Library this October. So the first book I'd like to talk to you about is called The Long Weekend by Gilly Macmillan. Dark Fell Barn is a perfectly isolated retreat, or so says its website when Jane books a reservation for her friends. A quiet place far removed from the rest of the world is exactly what they need. The women arrive for a girls' night ahead of their husbands. There's ex-Army Jane, hardened and serious, but also damaged. Ruth, the driven doctor and new mother, who is battling demons of her own. And young Emily, just wed and insecure, the newest addition of this tight-knit band. Missing this year is Eddie, who was the glue holding them together until her husband died suddenly. But what they hoped would be a relaxing break soon turns to horror upon arrival at Darkfell Barn. The women find a devastating note claiming one of their husbands will be murdered. There are no phones, no cell service to check on their men. Friendships fracture as the situation spins wildly out of control. Betrayal can come in many forms. This group has kept each other's secrets for far too long. That's called The Long Weekend by Gilly Macmillan. Really good October read for Halloween. The Rising Tide by Anne Cleves. For 50 years, a group of friends have been meeting regularly for reunions on Holy Island, celebrating a school trip where they met, and the friend that they lost to the rising causeway tide 5 years later. Now, when one of them is found dead, Vera is called in. Learning that the dead man had recently been fired after misconduct allegations, Vera knows she must discover what the friends are hiding and whether the events of many years before could have led to murder then and now. But with the tide rising, secrets long hidden are finding their way to the surface, and Vera and the team may find themselves in more danger than they could have believed possible. From Anne Cleves, New York Times bestselling award-winning author, from Anne Cleves, who is the New York Times bestselling and award-winning author of the Vera and Shetland series, both of which are hit TV shows, comes the stunning 10th Vera Stanhope novel, a powerful tome about guilt, betrayal, and the long-held secrets that people keep. And that's called The Rising Tide by Anne Cleves. The Girl from Guernica by Karen Robards. On an April day in 1937, the sky opens and fire rains down upon the small Spanish town of Guernica. 17-year-old Sibby and her family are caught up in the horror. Griff, an American military attaché, pulls Sibby from the wreckage, and it's only the first time he saves her life in a span of hours. When Germany claims no involvement in the attack, insisting the Spanish Republic was responsible, Griff guides Sibby to lie to Nazi officials. If she or her sisters reveal that they saw planes bearing swastikas, the Gestapo will silence them by any means necessary. As war begins to rage across Europe, Sibby joins the underground resistance, secretly exchanging information with Griff. But as the scope of Germany's ambitions becomes clear, maintaining the facade of a Nazi sympathizer becomes ever more difficult. And as Sibby is drawn deeper into a web of secrets, she must find a way to outwit an enemy that threatens to decimate her family once and for all. Masterfully rendered and vividly capturing one of the most notorious episodes in history, The Girl from Guernica is an unforgettable testament to the bonds of family and the courage of women in wartime. That's The Girl from Guernica by Karen Robards. The Mid-Coast by Adam White. It's spring in the teeny town of Damariscotta, a tourist haven on the coast of Maine, known for its oysters and antiques. Andrew, a high school English teacher, recently returned to the area, and he's brought his family to Ed and Steph Thatch's sprawling riverside estate to attend a reception for the Amherst women's lacrosse team. Back when they were all teenagers, Andrew never could have predicted that Ed, descended from a long line of lobstermen, or Steph, a decent student until she dropped out to start a family, would ever send a daughter to a place like Amherst. But so the tides have turned, and Andrew's trying hard to admire, more than envy, the view from Ed's rolling backyard meadow. As Andrew wanders through the Thatch's house, he stumbles upon a file he's not supposed to see. Photos of a torched body in a burned-out sedan. And when a line of state police cruisers crashes the Thatch's reception an hour later, Andrew and his neighbors finally begin to see the truth behind Ed and Steph's remarkable rise. Soon the newspapers are running headlines about the Thatches, and Andrew's poring over his memories, trying to piece together the story of a family he thought he knew. A propulsive drama that cares as deeply about its characters as it does about the crimes they commit. The Mid-Coast explores the machinations of privilege, the dark recesses of the American dream, and the lies we tell as we try at all costs to protect the ones we love. The Mid-Coast by Adam White. Kill Moon by Lisa Alber. Californian Merritt Chase doesn't know what she's in for when she travels to an Irish village famous for its matchmaking festival. She simply wants to meet her father, a celebrated matchmaker, in hopes that she can mend her troubled past. Instead, her arrival triggers a rising tide of violence, and Merritt finds herself both suspect and victim, accomplice and pawn, in a manipulative game that began 30 years previously. When she discovers that the matchmaker's treacherous past is at the heart of the chaos, she must decide how far she will go to save him from himself and get what she wants, a family. In her moody debut, Alber skillfully uses many shades of gray to draw complex characters who discover how cruel love can be. She evokes a world in which ancient tradition collides with modern village life, and ageless motivators such as greed and love still wield their power. Kill Moon captures the moodiness of the Irish landscape and a brooding mystery that explores family secrets, betrayal, vengeance, and murder. That's Kill Moon by Lisa Alber. The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. It is an ordinary Thursday, and things should finally be returning to normal. Except trouble is never far away where the Thursday Murder Club are concerned. A decade-old cold case, their favorite kind, leads them to a local news legend and a murder with no body and no answers. Then a new foe pays Elizabeth a visit. Her mission? Kill or be killed. Suddenly the cold case has become red hot. While Elizabeth wrestles with her conscience and a gun, Joyce, Ron, and Ibrahim chase down the clues with help from old friends and new. But can the gang solve the mystery and save Elizabeth before the murderer strikes again? From an upmarket spa to a prison cell complete with espresso machine to a luxury penthouse high in the Sky. This third adventure of the Thursday Murder Club is full of cleverness, intrigue, and irresistible charm that readers have come to expect from Richard Osman's best-selling series. That's The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman, a Thursday Murder Club mystery. If I Survive You by Jonathan Escoffery. In the 1970s, Topper and Sonia flee to Miami as political violence consumes their native Kingston. But America, as the couple and their 2 children learn, is far from the promised land. Excluded from society as Black immigrants, the family pushes on through Hurricane Andrew and later the 2008 recession, living in a house so cursed that the pet fish launches itself out of its own tank rather than stay. But even as things fall apart, the family remains motivated, often to its own detriment, by what their younger son, Trelawney, calls the exquisite, racking compulsion to survive. Masterfully constructed with heart and humor, the linked stories in Jonathan Escoffery's If I Survive You center on Trelawney as he struggles to carve out a place for himself amid financial disaster, racism, and flat-out bad luck. After a fight with Topper, himself reckoning with his failures as a parent and his longing for Jamaica, Trelawney claws his way out of homelessness through a series of odd, often hilarious jobs. Meanwhile, his brother Delano attempts a disastrous cash grab to get his kids back, and his cousin Cookie looks for a father who doesn't want to be found. As each character searches for a foothold, they never forget the profound danger of climbing without a safety net. Pulsing with vibrant lyricism and inimitable style, sly commentary, and contagious laughter, Escoffery's debut unravels what it means to be in between homes and cultures in a world at the mercy of capitalism and whiteness. With If I Survive You, Escoffery announces himself as a prodigious storyteller in a class of his own, a chronicler of American life at its most gruesome and hopeful. That's called If I Survive You by Jonathan Escoffery. Touch by Olaf Olafsson. When the pandemic hits, Christopher is forced to shutter his successful restaurant in Reykjavik, sending him into a spiral of uncertainty, even as his memory seems to be failing. But an uncanny bolt from the blue, a message from Miko Nakamura, a woman whom he'd known in the 60s when they were students in London, both inspires and rattles him, as he's drawn inexorably back into a love story that has marked him for life. Even as the pandemic upends his world, Christopher finds himself pulled toward an answer to the mystery of Miko's sudden departure decades before, compelling him to travel to London and Japan as the virus threatens to shut everything down. A heart-wrenching love story and an absorbing mystery, Touch delves into the secrets of the past to explore the hidden lives that we all possess, the pain and beauty of our past loves and friendships that continue to leave their mark on us. Searching and lyrically rendered by acclaimed author Olaf Olafsson, Touch is a stunning tribute to the weight of history and the complexities of the human heart. That's Touch by Olaf Olafsson. Thank you very much for watching our recommendations video. Please follow the Hagaman Library online for more recommendations and content. You can go to www.hagaman.library.org. So that's www.hagamanlibrary, that's one word, .org. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Hagaman Library, on Instagram at Hagaman_East Haven. So, and let us know in the comments what's made your to be read list and what you're currently reading. Thank you very much for listening today to this recommendations video of our new adult fiction. And please visit the library to get more information and come and browse and check out our new fiction section. Thank you very much. Have a great day.